Amazon is riling up Amazon sellers because they're changing all the fees. Hint, they're raising them. Again, my name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. In this video, I'm going to walk you through AMZ Prep's breakdown. This is brought to us by Blair. And he wrote up a very lengthy article, the kind of article you need a table of contents for. And it's super thorough, explaining all of the fees. So I'm going to do a little bit of reading and news organization here, stuff to kind of walk you guys through this. So bullet points first, TLDR, fulfillment fees increase for standard size items have risen an average of 5 to 8%. That basically happens every year. That part's not newsworthy, but you need to be aware of it. That's pretty much cost of inflation right now. I think inflation is actually greater than 8%. So technically that's good news. It's not raising more than that. Long-term storage fees have been adjusted with the minimum storage duration for assessing fees reduced from a year down to 6 months. So if you leave things at Amazon, you're going to be paying extra fees. Essentially, they want units to turn. This is on brand for Amazon, nothing unusual here. But those penalties are going to kick in twice as fast now. Storage fees have been restructured, incorporating a tiered pricing model based on the product's volume. Smaller items may experience increased storage costs. So if you sell tweezers, man, you had some good margins. Those are going to be eaten up a tiny bit because if you have small items, you're going to be paying more. Removal fee updates, including the fees, have been revised, affecting sellers who need to retrieve or dispose of their inventory for Amazon fulfillment centers. New packaging and prep service fees. FBA has introduced fees for optional packaging and prep services. Sellers opting for Amazon services in these areas will now incur additional charges. Not clear if that includes like bubble wrap and some of the other basics, but I imagine it does. Category-specific adjustments. So fees for certain categories have been adjusted. Sellers in specific niches may experience changes in referral fees or other category-related charges. And return processing fee increases. So the fee for processing customer returns has been increased. This part sucks so bad because Amazon customers abuse the heck out of sellers. Like, you could see return rates anywhere from 8 to 15% depending on your category. And you and I both know there are people who are abusing these returns. They're sending back the wrong items. And so sellers get double screwed here. They get screwed because they have to pay the FBA fees when stuff gets returned. And then the item often is damaged or not even the right item, so it can't be resold. So very large impact on fee increases for returns. I don't like that one at all. So some timelines, basically everything kicks in by April 15th. And you guys can look at, by the way, we're going to include a link to this full breakdown and article if you want to go through this. It's going to take you like an hour to understand it all. So I'm going to do my best to try and give you the highlights. Just read you the TLDR bullet points that Blair put together over at AMZ Prep. And we'll go through and review a bunch of this information. So let's go through it. And the table of contents could help you figure out like where you want to focus. But at the end of the day, fees are going up, right? So that's what you need to know. Inbound placement fees or product size tiers, let's start there. New size tiers and more granular tier intervals are being added. So essentially, if you were at the top of a tier, you had a nice little break there. That break's going around. So no more gamification of trying to get it under 11 inches. Basically, there's no cost savings to try and reduce your box an extra inch. I mean, there is, but not as substantial now, right? So we put out an article, I want to say 2 years ago, like save 11% on FBA fees, My Amazon Guy. Anytime I'm trying to find one of my old pieces of content, I just type in something like that with the word My Amazon Guy at the end of it. How to reduce FBA fees by 11%. Use an FBA fee calculator, and you can basically figure out like, okay, I just need to reduce my box size by an inch. Boom, FBA fees were down 11%. So haven't run the math on that, but I suspect it's going to go from like 11% down to like 4 to 6. So more product tiers. Referral Amazon fees. So inbound placement service Amazon fees for certain price ranges in the apparel category are being decreased. One of the small parts of the positive news. Apparel just gets slammed everywhere, especially on the return rates. So it's nice that they're at least getting a fee reduction on this front. I think they're running out of apparel sellers because it's really hard to make a margin in apparel on Amazon. We have like 400 brands we currently actively work with right now. And I want to say one or two are in apparel. Like that's it. That's how few we work with right now. We like working in apparel. It's just difficult. Low margins, high amount of variations. Inbound defect fee. So a new category of charges being added based on problematic or delayed shipments, which stinks. Not only did they make a change like a year ago where if your shipment is older than 90 days, they just delete it, just like right out of under you. But now if you have repeated defects, they're gonna add on fees. It's feeling a lot more like Vendor Central over on Seller Central these days with chargebacks. Ships in product packaging program, which I've never used and know nothing about, is getting some additional incentives. Prep service fees for sharp and fragile classifications are on the rise. So I've been selling wine glasses on Amazon for like 7, 8, actually closer to 10 years now. And I loved the fact that I was making a nice margin. That's shrinking. Remove disposal fees are increasing based on site and weight tier. Back in the day, you could remove anything from Amazon for like 50 cents. One year, I took advantage of the program. I sent all of my Christmas gifts out. I had a hot sauce product that failed for me, and I ended up just shipping them all to my customers. Like I sent like everybody like 6 bottles of this stuff. It was such a hit. Next year, they all asked me if I was sending it again. And I was like, no, I was just getting rid of old products. Yeah. Of course, you can no longer do that. You'll get in trouble if you ship to multiple locations with removal fees these days. A lot of people took advantage of that. Man, that is going to be one of the things I miss the most, honestly. But now, if you got big items sitting around and you're trying to remove them, you're going to be paying even more. Monthly storage fees. So off-peak Amazon storage fees are being reduced for some product tiers. Storage utilization fee. So the fee group is getting more granularity in the fee structure based on storage versus sell-through metrics. So we've covered a lot of videos and content on like how Amazon calculates storage fees. It's worth bringing up to kind of tie this in. So we're going to go over to that section. I actually have to remember how to get there. One second. As I'm stumbling over there, I ran across this estimated aged inventory surcharge, and you can see they have a big one hitting March 15th here, so you got to take action on that. I've got some stuff that's probably coming close to that 365. I actually have 600 units that have been there over a year. That is not good. I'm wasting money right here. $780 worth of money here. So I got to get some of those taken out, removed. You can come over to the FBA inventory report to see like which ones to focus on right there. I just clicked on the shipment performance section. I love how I have only a 0.33% box issue, and it puts me at my problem rate at critical, right? Like it was probably like just one box that had an issue. Jeez Louise. But they tracked that over time. You can see that right here. Finally found the report I was looking for. It's under inventory performance. In here, you can see your IPI score right there. I'm at a 560. Couple of call outs here. First of all, I'm paying less than 1% at FBA storage fees. That's basically been the case for the life of me as an Amazon seller. That's good. If you are paying 2% or more, you are probably having a problem with one of these 4 influencing factors: excess inventory, sell-through. It's usually one of those two: stranded inventory or in-stock inventory. Now, part of the changes that people are really riled up about is if you don't have everything in stock, they're going to hit you with additional fees, which is very bad, especially because just-in-time logistics no longer exists. Just-in-time shipping doesn't work anymore. All kinds of things happened during the last pandemic, might happen again. So just really they're trying to make sure Amazon sellers like keep products in stock, don't overstock it, but don't understock it, and just get it just right. They want the Goldilocks zone all the time, and they're throwing penalties if you don't. So you got to keep that IPI score well above the 400s. So that's going to impact and influence you based on how much storage they give you. And if you have sell-through problems or excess inventory, they're going to hit you with those additional fees. So that's kind of the big challenge there with storage utilization fees. There is another section here, and that is how much storage they actually give you. So last year they came out with the ability to bid on additional storage. I never had to take advantage of that. I think I only had 2 people I've ever talked to use it, and they were able to get some additional storage. It wasn't too bad. So the bidding system, I don't have anything negative to say about that. But if you run out of space, it's such a really difficult thing to handle. I highly recommend shipping in Q4 product super early, probably July, August timeframe, which stinks because then you're paying extra storage fees, especially if you overstock it. But if you don't, they'll just magically, just randomly, right around Black Friday, say, hey, you can't ship anything else in. You're done. So it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. But I recommend damned if you do in that specific instance. Going back to the article, supply chain updates. So Amazon's updating rates and benefits for the Amazon Global Logistics, partner carrier, and Amazon warehousing distribution programs. And I've heard very mixed things about Amazon's global logistics. I had one person who just got their shipment totally lost and they had to spend like 6 months fighting with Amazon to get reimbursed. Talked to other people that had no problems and it was a significantly lower fee than the alternatives. Very difficult to say whether I'd recommend that program or not. Hit or miss. With all things with Amazon, it's worth testing, but you might get burned. So choose your own destiny. 2024 FBA fee change details. So here's the new size bands. So the new size tier, specifically large, bulky, and extra large, to replace the current oversized category. This change will allow a more accurate categorization of items based on their size and weight. So, for example, if you're selling a car on Amazon, which is now a thing, that's going to be a very different band on how they store stuff like that. All right, so here is the details. If you want to learn more about the apparel stuff, you guys can look that up. For most of you, we'll just keep moving on. Inbound and outbound changes. New inbound placement service FBA fees effective March 1st. When building shipments, sellers can choose between premium service to send inventory to a single location, pay a fee, or discounted service to send inventory to multiple locations with no or reduced fee. Now, the biggest complaint we typically hear from sellers is the fact that, like, let's say you're in Georgia, like I am, and you create a shipment, and then it's like, I want you to send 80% of your stuff to California and 10% to New York and 10% to Florida. And it's like, come on, like, can't I get a little better break on the East Coast over here? Unfortunately, no. The only thing you could do is to change the ship from location. If you game it too much, though, they'll just suspend your shipping abilities. So it's getting a lot more difficult to meander through those logistics challenges. This is why a lot of more sophisticated sellers will have a warehouse on the West and the East Coast to kind of factor that in. Various factors determine the eligibility of a shipment. Amazon will generate cost estimates for each available option during shipment creation. The inbound placement service fee is based on the product's classifications, charged per unit, 45 days after the shipment is received. So the fee could range anywhere from $0 to $6 a unit, and I got to tell you, it's generally in the middle of the ground, so $2 to $3 typically. So it's substantial, right? Especially if you send in 1,000 items, that's $2,000-$3,000. Holy crap! As of March 1st, a new inbound defect fee will be implemented, ensuring the smooth and timely flow of shipments. This fee was only charged in certain situations. This includes when a shipment is sent to different locations than planned. Domestic shipments that take longer than 45 days to arrive. Wow, that's cutting it close on the time frame. International shipments that take longer than 75 days to arrive. Man, that's like fast. So a lot of challenges coming your way with timing. Fee is per unit basis, and they say it's only 2 to 7 cents, but man, that's going to add up, especially the difficulty, like the complexity to navigate all of this stuff. It's almost like you need a logistics expert on staff to handle it all. It can be challenging. We send out shipping recommendations every week at My Amazon Guy, and some sellers love it, others don't, and sometimes it's like, well, thank you for the recommendations, but I can't act on them. Other ones are like super hyper focused on it because of all these fees and everything that people have to deal with. Ships in Product Packaging SIP program brings an exciting update to what we formerly called Ship and Own Container. By participating in this program, products will not only benefit from brand new name, but also receive discounted FBA fees ranging from 4 cents to $1.32. I think this is a very advisable thing. So when I sell wine glasses, if I don't pre-box it, Amazon will just throw it in a padded envelope, right? So like shipping it in your own packaging, highly recommend it. You can throw your own branding on. You can control your own destiny, especially if you want to do like the 6-foot drop test. I highly recommend that. So that way you know if your item's going to arrive safely to the consumer. Really, really helpful. New prep service fees. So they're going to increase bubble wrap by a quarter, and labeling fees will be maintained across the board at 55 cents. So no adjustment on labeling, but bubble wrap, that's going up a quarter, which stinks because everybody basically uses bubble wrap, especially if you're selling wine glasses like I am. Inventory and supply storage, new low inventory fee effective April 1st. Amazon will introduce a fee for standard size products that consistently have low inventory levels. To avoid this fee, sellers must ensure they have at least a 4-week supply of inventory. So now they're like, don't have more than 2 months, but don't have less than one. Good luck navigating and threading that needle, Amazon sellers. When inventory falls below 28 days, 36 cents to $1 per unit. Wow. Wowzers on that one. That is going to destroy some people's business models. This one change right there will destroy certain business models because, man, that's rough. And like, who even knows how this affects retail arbitrage people, right? I don't even know like how they are going to implement that. Returns processing fee will expand into items with high return rates in categories, excluding apparel and shoes. Thank God. This existing return processing for apparel and shoes will remain unchanged. The return rate standard will be based on relative rate of the category. Accessibility to a product return rate and category thresholds will be available May 1st. So not all the information is out on that one quite yet. Storage utilization. Amazon's increasing the granularity and rates for the surcharge. Fee will be applied to professional sellers with a storage utilization ratio over 22 weeks. The ratio is calculated by dividing the average daily inventory volume by the average daily shipped volume over the past 13 weeks based on size tier. Inventory older than 30 days is not included. Starting from June 1st, warehousing distribution will grant a waiver to items that are automatically replenished. Aged inventory surcharge. So long-term storage fees are being held from 181 days to 365 days with higher rates for items held for 271 and longer than that. The increased range is $1.65 per unit, depending on the age tier. It does not apply to clothing, shoes, apparel. Inventory age is calculated based on first in, first out basis. So when an item gets to FBA versus when it leaves. So Amazon claims that the oldest item is always shipped first. That's not the case, but that's how they at least factor the fees. So if you're selling grocery or supplements, be advised that you could have problems with expiring product, and it happens all the time to the clients we work with. New and expanded services. So Amazon's unveiling updates to its Vine program. I have mixed feelings about Vine. I think it's good for some categories. Giftable items that you can put in your hand and identify it in under 10 seconds and understand what the heck it is. But if it's a complicated item, a technical item, supplement item, probably not going to recommend Vine for most of those things. Unless it's like a simple supplement like an apple cider vinegar gummy. But if it's like a testosterone booster, heck no. Definitely don't do that. For products to 1 to 2 units, no fee. 3 to 10 units, $75. And 11 to 30 will be $200. At least it's a small fee, not a big one. Back in the day, you had to pay like $2,000 to be in Vine. So one small win amidst everything else. The Vine program also was free for a time period. Now it's just kind of a marginal fee. New selection program for FBA. Available to brand registry owners and those with an IPI score over 300. Sellers will receive an average 10% rebate on sales for eligible new to FBA parent ASINs, excluding ASINs in the media categories. Enrollment offer rebates, free monthly storage, free liquidations based on product classification. So Amazon realizes all this complexity they're adding. They're going to have to pad that a little bit with experimentation. They want sellers to bring new product to the platform, but there's not a lot of incentive. So they made this program to incentivize rebates, monthly storage, fee reductions, free in this case, and return waiving fees as well. So that's actually really a large incentive. A lot of people will rush and make things in Q1, like launch products in the November timeframe. A lot of my most successful launches have happened in November going into the Christmas rush. So it's a very good time to do that, especially with all the fee reductions. So here's all the product pricing bands. You guys can analyze that as you will. So you can see shipping weight, longest side, median side, short side, and then length plus girth. So how long around it is, if you will, when they do all that math. You got the product size tiers all over the place. Inbound FBA fees. Here's a chart for that. We've got apparel versus non-apparel broken out. A lot of fees to go analyze. Sip and Sock program where products were shipped to the customer in their original packaging. You can see how they're going to discount that right there. So, 4 to 6 cents. Still, that's, every bit counts. When we're talking all these fee increases, some marginal opportunities in there. FBA fees for items under $10. So Amazon's had a really big problem selling $10 items or under. TikTok is crushing it on this category right now. China's government is subsidizing it. So I think Amazon has to do a little bit of defense on the sub $10 item front. A lot of Amazon sellers just avoid under $10. What they do instead is sell like a bundle or a 3-pack at the $20, $25 mark to get around some of that. But you can see here the fees there under $3 to ship items. Pretty good. That's definitely going to allow you a lot more capacity to sell under $10. Consistent low inventory fees. So you can see some of those fees and how they stack that up. So very large. Like this is probably the worst announcement, honestly. Right? So if your item is there for 14, like if you're low inventory for 14 days, 70-cent fee, like what the frick? And I'm guessing that's per unit, but still, man, that's going to add up fast. Monthly inventory fees, so you can see how they charge it per cubic feet and all the charts that are available with that. And then how you utilize your ratio of utilization. So based on the number of weeks of churn, or your utilization, you'll see how they're going to charge the cubic feet. Big ranges on this, anywhere from 56 cents to $1 and change. Well, it goes up higher than that, depending on some of those other ratios. Peak versus non-peak. And like you just need a frickin' dictionary to go through all this stuff. And then there's aged inventory fees and inbound defect fees and FBA prep cost fees. Just goes on and on and on. It's making use an expert look better and better. So if you guys want to schedule a coaching call, talk to our logistics experts, or hire us to manage some of your logistics, and we'll also run your PPC, your SEO, your design, get that SEO and design team working together, because they usually don't. Your designers don't know SEO, but that's kind of the main point of design. It's not just about conversion, it's about traffic as well, which we talk a lot on this channel. If you want to learn more about why traffic is way more important to focus on than conversion, watch this video next. Let me know in the comments what you're seeing on logistics and how put out you are by some of these updates, because I think the whole community, it's like, that's why I like go around saying it's not me against you, Amazon brand or other Amazon agency. It's all of us against Amazon, because it really is at this point. The margins are going down, the maturity phase is getting harder. Hopefully a competitor like TikTok gains some ground. I mean, not that I want it to be TikTok, because I don't really like the China government beating Amazon, but someone's got to take down Goliath, keep them honest, so we're not, hanging out here to dry as an Amazon seller. Thanks for watching. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. Click this traffic video right here.